Well, I really don't review current films for the simple reason that the bulk of what I've been seeing sucks. But I was flipping through Tubi the other night and I came up with the last Rambo movie called Last Blood. And I'm like, okay, let me see what this is all about. Because the previous Rambo movie, I think it was called maybe John Rambo or something like that, was set in Burma, I think it was. And let me tell you, this was a fucking gore fest that basically put Cannibal Holocaust to shame. I mean, this was so over the top and so sadistically and grotesquely violent that it was hard to watch. And we had a lot of really fucked up shit, like these soldiers throwing mines into this swampy area, then forcing prisoners to run through it and taking bets on which one would blow up. And of course, when they blew up, you got a shower of entrails. A missionary group is attacked by these rebels after trying to save a village, and we get to see their legs blown off. We get to see babies bayoneted and thrown into fire. We get to see glimpses of rape, torture, arms getting cut off, heads getting cut off, amputees, burnings, all kinds of fucking wonderful family shit, until they hire Rambo to take a team of mercenaries in to settle the score. Well, it don't get any fucking better than that, because these guys are chewed up too, and they slice and dice, and people are gutted, blown up, burned, and the main bad guy is disemboweled by Rambo, and that's it. Well, I thought it couldn't get any fucking worse than that. I was wrong. So I tune in to Rambo Last Blood, where now Rambo is looking like shit. I mean, I don't know how old this guy is in actuality. I'm 70, and it's like this guy is so testosterone up at whatever age he is. It's like, geez, Sly, I wish I could wake up with a hard-on in the middle of the night, because I'm out of testosterone. But you, my friend, are oozing testosterone, and I think that little dimple on your chin now might be your belly button from all the facelifts you've gotten. But anyway, he's on this ranch out in the middle of nowhere in Arizona with a so-called niece that lost her father, went to Mexico, and some other woman whose role is undetermined. She could be an aunt, I don't know. She's a Mexican woman herself. So, of course, this girl wants to go to Mexico to find her father, and is taken down by a shady friend who, when she finds her father tells her that he wants nothing to do with her. Then the shady friend takes her to a nightclub where her drink is spiked by a roofie, and basically her friend sold her to white slavers. That's what happened, was some kind of deal. So, of course, Rambo has to go down there and confront the slavers, who basically have told this girl and all the other girls that they've captured that they have to bang 50 to 60 guys a day and get used to it and don't complain, and we'll tell you when you stop. Okay, so of course Rambo is surrounded by 3,000 gangbangers, is beaten the shit out of, has his face slashed, and they tell him that they're going to retaliate on his niece, because if he hadn't come down there and showed that picture of her, they wouldn't have known who she is. So basically, they leave him in the fucking street. They go find her, slice her face up, shoot her up with dope, and throw her in a low-rent whorehouse where basically whatever's going on. Stunning family entertainment up until this point right now. So Rambo finds an ally in somebody whose sister was done in the same way, and he basically returns home and booby traps his entire fucking ranch. There's tunnels under the ranch because Rambo liked to dig tunnels, and all these tunnels are now loaded with fucking booby traps, sawed-off shotguns, punji stakes, all kinds of shit just to fucking dice people up. And of course he goes back down to Mexico because there's two brothers running the operation. He gets his niece out of there by basically slaughtering everybody in the whorehouse, but the whores that are hooked on drugs refuse to leave. So he takes his niece home, where she basically dies on the way home. He buries her on the property, sends the other woman off because he's got shit to do, because he's Rambo. So he goes back to Mexico, basically finds the one brother, kills everybody in his house, ties him in the bed, tortures him, cuts off his head, and leaves a note stuck in his chest with a knife. And as he's riding back to the ranch, he just tosses the severed head out the fucking window like a pumpkin. Alright, so now there's a massive attack of these drug dealers on the ranch, where they're all basically slaughtered in horrific and grotesque ways. Until it's down to like the last guy, where he basically, Rambo is shot. Rambo, goes through this whole thing unscathed until the end where he takes a fucking gut shot and another shot through the chest, but fuck, he's Rambo. I mean, come on, dude. This motherfucker has a body count higher than Art the Clown, Leatherface, Michael Myers, Jason, and Freddy Krueger combined, all in one fucking film. So top that. Rambo makes all these serial killers and psycho killers look like a fucking pussy in comparison. So wrap your heads around that. So now we're down to the last bad guy because everybody else has been fucking killed and the whole ranch has been blown up. So Rambo pins the guy to a wall, but with his archery. I mean, guy's 70-something years old. He's a great archer. He pins the guy to the wall with arrows through his fucking shoulders and his legs. And then he walks up and he cuts the fucking guy's heart out, holds it up in his face while it's still beating, and the guy dies. The end. Okay. So, you wonder why 6-year-old kids are shooting their teachers in the face. You wonder why schools are getting shot up. You wonder why the police departments of America are beating suspects into jelly in front of cameras. And usually I wouldn't say this, but you know something? You gotta fucking look at the entire picture right now and see this is what's causing this shit. Because I'm gonna go back to when I was growing up. The blood was bright red, not dark like it is today, not realistic. We knew the shit was fake. But obviously we're dealing with a mentality in this country that they don't think this is fake, and they think this is fucking cool, and that's why these fucking people go out and shoot up schools and shit like that. And I'm not against people owning guns. I'm not anti-gun. I'm anti-giving guns to fucking psychopaths or fucking people or adolescents that obviously have mental problems, but for some reason, and we all know that parents sign consent forms. I mean, look at Kyle Rittenhouse and all these other assholes. So yeah, I can throw the fucking blame right on this shit and also the violent video games. And I know that, you know, politicians have been doing this for years with the EC comics and shit like that. And it really wasn't true back then because nobody was affected by that shit. Nobody took it fucking seriously. Nobody took films like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th seriously because nobody would do that. That's all fucking changed. And as far as Sylvester Stallone is concerned, all you're doing is making money on violence right now. You once were very promising. Rocky, you know, a huge hit. But who helped you with Rocky, Sly? Who was your mentor in those days? Joe Spinell. And what did you do with him at the advice of your new friends? You threw Joe under the fucking bus. You ignored him, which led probably to his downfall because he just couldn't understand how a guy that he mentored and how a guy who was almost like a son to him kicked him to the wayside because of better fucking company. I met Sage. I liked Sage. Me and Sage had a few run-ins on eBay and shit, but Sage was basically a good guy who loved his father, but in the end, I don't know what the fuck happened with Sage. I honestly think that Sly abandoned him. I'm not a fan. When you go do a fucking comic convention in New York and you want $600 for a photo op with your fans, you know something? Fuck you, really. Fuck you. Don't you have enough money? And now you're just churning out these fucking gore fests, your last two Rambo films, where it was nothing concrete except slaughter for the sake of slaughter, and you have the same dumbfounded expression on your face that you have through all of them. But even better, as Rambo Last Blood ends, we get to see a montage of clips from all the other movies just to satisfy whatever. So, yeah. So that's part of the reason I don't watch fucking current shit, because you know, this was nothing more than killing for the sake of killing, and also made Mexicans in Mexico look really fucking bad. So, again, that's my opinion. Whether you like it or not, that's on you. I'm just stating my opinion, and I'm stating that basically I despise Sylvester Stallone as a fucking human being. So, thanks for tuning in, thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you on the flip side.